Top billing on the program belonged to rounds 19 and 20 of this year's Bridgestone South African Production Car Championship, which arrived in the Eastern Cape with the title chasers in all 4 of its contested classes still wide open. Friday's qualifying showed just how competitive this racing really is, when the times of the 8 quickest drivers were covered by just 0.8 of a second. Defending title holder Leroy Poulter was in pole position.
Well, I think we are really happy with obviously qualifying. Car really went well and really consistent as well. So I'm looking forward to it. The only thing not looking forward to is obviously the start, our standing start. So I think we'll be there definitely at the end.
Poulter shared the front row of the grid with Micah Sonak's Audi driver Melville Priest.
Yeah, as always, you know, it's just the start. It's probably the first 50 meters that we have our advantage, and then it neutralizes. So generally speaking, I think into the first corner it's going to be close. Just need to keep it clean, keep our noses, get through the first lap, and I think the racing will be good.
Veteran Sean Watson-Smith ended up 3rd quickest in his Engine Extreme Audi.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind another pole or two. There's only been 1 or 2 of them this season, and but yeah, as I said to you earlier, you know, we're at the business end of the championship. I want to win it. I think we started the season as dark horses, and well, here we are, you know, close to the end and right up there. Obviously, it didn't go according to plan in qualifying. Leroy is ahead of me, but at least Johan is a few places behind, and he's the one who's 12 points ahead. So yeah, for sure, I'll be aiming to get in front at the start and then try and defend like hell.
With Audi's Johan Fourie and Sean Watson-Smith plus Nissan's Leroy Poulter locked in a fight at the top of the points log, there would be no room for mistakes. Class T for Force-inducted petrol-engine cars has produced a seesaw battle between Volkswagen's new Golf 5 GTI and BMW's Mini Cooper S this season. After the qualifying session, former single-seater champion Robert Volk sat on pole position in his Affinity Part Mini Cooper S, while youngster Riyad Jaffa would lead the Class B field in his Sasol Toyota Runex RSI.
I'll definitely been a lot better down at the coast. The team's put in a big effort, along with Finterpart, their support. Since Swartcourse, we've definitely come a long way, and it's nice to be in front of the goals for a change.
While Volkswagen's Ian Pepper and Graham Nathan were clear title leaders in Class T, the Class B points of Riyad Jaffa and Ben Morgenrood were provisional, pending the outcome of a technical rule dispute. That is sad, since titles should be won on circuits rather than in courtrooms. Mark Silverwood set the Class C pace with his Ford Fiesta, followed by Robbie Beninka's Volkswagen City Golf and Jason Thornton's Ford Icon. Privateer racer Beninka led the Junior Production Car Championship, a single point ahead of Works driver Trevor Tuck.
Is the standing start going to be enough for Leroy Poulter, or the Audi's going to get away? I think they're going to get away quite nicely. Oh, look at that, bumping and barging in the background. Siya Fourie just been blocked out there. We go on board with Dion Joubert and the carfind.co.za, and Bosel Nissan looking at the back of Siya Fourie and the metal paint Subaru.
Oh, things are getting tight here already. A tap by one of the cars at the back there. Dion Joubert gets a shove. Fourie just hangs on, and there's Olivier sliding off into the distance. So chaos in the mid-pack.
Yeah, unbelievable start there as per usual, and that's what we expected from them. Car wars aplenty. Looks like that is Clint Weston, unfortunately, who's taken a big knock there. He was also involved. Davy Olivier, wow, look at that. That car is crabbing badly as the rest of the field start to come into the complex for the first time.
So it was the Audis that had the advantage, as they always do, as they always have this whole year. The four-wheel drive getting them off the line well, but the rear-wheel drive of Poulter, the championship contender, losing out a little bit at the moment to Fourie, but he is ahead of him on the track at the moment.
That's what he needs to be, just ahead of Johan Fourie, and try and get as much points as possible to try and drag back that lead as we go on board with Anthony Taylor. Castrol BMW 330i looking at his teammate Etienne van der Linde just in front of him, and they've got a lot of work to do to catch those Audis and Nissans just in front of them.
They have, but the BMWs have really come on song down here. Look at this, Taylor already setting up a move on his teammate coming up on the back end of the Nissan. So Taylor really hot on the brakes there. You see a little bit of wheel work going on there, and that's the back end of the BMWs lighting up as Priest comes through with a great lead on lap 1.
Great lap 1 there from Melville Priest, a superb start from him off the line. He didn't get involved in all the action as we go back into Class B and Class C battles. As you can see, Riyad Jaffa looking to take this championship. He's got his teammate Dave Compton snuck in behind there. Piet Versaki in Class T just ahead. And of course, here comes that battle. But look at this, it's Dani van Niekerk who's actually leading Class B at the moment in that Ford Fiesta.
Fantastic to see him up there, and you see what he's doing, Greg. He's actually tucked in behind one of the slower Class T's, and he's using that slipstream to drag him up. This is the Class T battle, and Graham Nathan in the GTI is actually leading out the minis at this stage. He knows he's a little bit down on power, so he also is trying to get away at the front.
Leroy Poulter still hanging on and keeping those Audis at bay. The only one he can't catch is Melville Priest, who just goes through our shot now. Then it's the Sassel-Nissen, the 2 Engine Extreme Audis, Johan Fourie Racing, and then of course it's Supuka in the Sassel-Nissen.
This row of top 8 or 9 drivers really pulling away from the rest as we go back to Class T. And Graham Nathan has actually got ahead of one of the Class A drivers. That's Peter Lindenberg in that blue Subaru. So he's trying to get away. Look at this battle. This is the second place battle. Fourie is coming through, and he's bringing through Watson Smith as well.
Yeah, he's managed to get ahead of Michael Stephen there. He has Johan Fourie as they come down the beach straight away, down towards the complex. You can see Melville Priest opening up a huge gap. Johan Fourie side by side with Sean Watson Smith. Watson Smith's got the inside line. You can see that Leroy Poulter takes evasive action, goes on to the right-hand side of the track, and makes sure that he closes the door before they go into the S's.
Poulter setting up a nice line here as we go on board again, and look how close Donnie van Niekerk is, really using that slipstream to full effect. Slides up the inside, the perfect slingshot move, and now what he's done is he's put that slower T-Class driver in between himself and Ben Morgenrud, who's now coming on strong in the Class B battle.
The most important thing there is Morgenrud's got ahead of the Toyotas as we go back to Class C. This is the battle between the Volkswagen Polo, City Golf, and of course the Ford Fiesta. It's Etienne Prinsloo, Robin Benenka, and Mark Silverwood. Silverwood having a dismal weekend on the start, but eventually got his car right as we go back to Class B.
Again, it's tightened up here, so now Donnie van Niekerk, Ben Morgenrud and Jaffa, and those two, second and third, are the class leaders in championship. But Donnie van Niekerk throwing a spanner in the works here. That Fiesta really firing, and great to see the Ford out there.
Yeah, it's super to see the Blue Oval Racing back in it, and I tell you something, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with if he keeps this car going. Jaffa up the inside of Morgenrud. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Yes, he is. Thanks very much. Into Beacon corner, out of Beacon. Ben comes straight back at him and says, well, you got a bit more work to do there, Mr. Jaffa. Let's go, boy.
Look at this. Supuka, big problems. Looks like the engine's blown on that Nissan, and it is dumping oil all over the place. Hopefully that's not going to cause too much problems.
Oh. Well, it is. There you go. Big spin from Supuka. Can you handle it? A 360-degree king of spin style there. I think he's been watching Magesh a bit too much. Here we go back to Class C battle, and look at this. Benenka and Thornton. Oh, Thornton pushing wide. He unfortunately had nowhere to go. Turned in and saw Benenka there and had to take the left-hand lane and down towards the beach.
Now here's the Class A guys coming through, and remember, has just had a problem. There's still oil on the track. It looks like there may be. People slowly place. Big crash. Taylor goes into the side of Poulter.
Oh, that's a big pretty there because Anthony Taylor had nowhere to go. Leroy Poulter getting caught out on the oil. You can see that Sean Watson Smith has also spun out on that oil. Here comes Van der Linde getting it completely sideways off the oil that Supuka has dropped. There's going to be big problems about that. And that is Gavin Cronier who's coming through. Now, there's lots of hassles there. You can see almost all of the Class A competitors, except for Melville Priest, have been affected by that. The Class T boys just taking a slightly wider line, and both minis go wide. Can you believe it?
Even more problems. So, no, this has got to bring out a red flag. There's absolute chaos out there. It's getting too dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised to see a red flag out there. And yes, it is. You can see the red flag waving. So what that'll do is it'll bring everything one place back. No problems for Melville Priest. He was way out front.
Melville Priest won Class A comfortably, 6 seconds clear of Leroy Poulter, who had Sean Watson Smith, Johan Fourie and Michael Stephen on his heels. Garth Weberski took the Class T honours from Graham Nathan, while Donnie van Niekerk beat Riyad Jaffa and Dave Compton to the checkered flag in Class B. Etienne Prinsloo crossed the finish line first in Class C, robbing top title contenders Robbie Benenka and Trevor Tuck of precious championship points.
Reverse grid and rolling starts, and look at that, Richard Roots has stepped up into the car that Supuka has been banned from, and he's now riding for Team Nissan. We go on board with Van der Linde down towards turn number 1. Remember, the reverse grid makes that Gavin Cronier on pole position as they go into Potters for the first time.
Same time around from the last round as well. P.E. Cronier was leading in the second heat, and I think he likes to have a nice bit of clean air as we look backwards at the rest of the cars. Look at the speed as they enter through Potters here. Nice to see the BMWs up front. What can Taylor do this time around?
Out of Rifle and down towards Copacabana. It's flat out stuff. It's close to 240 kilometers an hour by the time they come into the section, and then they climb onto the brakes, and you can see it's Cronier. Big move there from Johan Fourie around the outside of Taylor. So it's pushing all the way, and you can see side by side Audi, BM and Nissan, and Anthony Taylor goes flying past Gavin Cronier.
Cronier must have missed a gear or something there, because it again passed like he was completely standing still. Now Taylor has clear air in front of him. He can hopefully try and run a bit of a gap. He'll have been bitterly disappointed to get basically taken out of the first race, and he'll be running smooth but look, I can see the Audi of Fourie flying through. He's already got past Van der Linde, so he means business this time around.
Well, he's pushing hard. He hasn't been able to get past the Nissans just yet, but he is definitely on a charge. And you can see Van der Linde wants to go with him, as does Melville Priest. And Siya Fourie just behind there in the metal plates. Whoa! Oh, Ian Pepper gets it completely wrong out of the complex. The PG Glass car, unfortunately, ending up on its roof and then back onto its wheels.
Big pity for Pepper, but look at the battle out front here. So it is Taylor, championship leader Poulter now, and he's making himself look very good. Taylor runs a little bit wide. Look at Cronje and Poulter. It is a drag race all the way down. This will set up Anthony Taylor correct for the inside, though, but I think the Nissan might just have enough ponies to sweep around the outside.
Side-by-side action, and this is the action that Steve Maguire from GP Windscreens would have loved to see if he'd been with us here today. Rest in peace, Steve. We wish you all the very best, and to your family. It's great to see all the cars running that decal just for you.
Very nice. Look at this, lap 7. We've still got a BMW out front, and it's been a long time since we've seen that. Third place is Melville Priest. Looks like Watson Smith there in fourth, and Fourie is absolutely charging. He is trying to get stuck under the back end of the man in front of him. That's Sean Watson Smith. It is all about drag racing. It is all about slipstreaming to try and make it happen. The Class T battle, Greg.
Back towards Class T, yes indeed. Weberski and Walk battling hard against each other, and they're not working together to keep those GTIs at bay. They've got the big man, Graham Nathan, right on their tail. And in Class B, it's Dave Compton doing his job and keeping Ben Morganroot at bay, but Pierre Pizzaki's helping him out as well. The Class T Liebherr GTI, unfortunately, getting in the way and giving big problems there to Morganroot.
Yeah, Morganroot looked like he was really getting held up. The man who's not getting held up is Sean Watson Smith. The Engen Extreme Audi really flying there. A little bit of smoke, though, as he was trying to pull away from Johan Fourie. This looks like it's Compton. Is Compton pulling over? I think you can see his mirrors full of the Class A battle that is about to come flying past him. Remember, all classes out there at the same time.
The most important thing to remember as well is that Sean Watson Smith is actually in his teammate's car. They've set that car up. It was Michael Stevens' car. He had problems in his own one, and they've given an opportunity to try and stay in the championship hunt, and that's why he's in Michael's car with the red wing mirrors.
Lap 9, things are getting very, very tight at the front here. Taylor hanging on by the skin of his teeth here as Poulter tries to slide up the inside. He's brought Watson Smith along for the ride and Fourie. And look at Class T. Great battle here with the GTIs. Nathan versus Bose.
Yeah, left, right. Who's going to take the inside line? Bose just gets ahead of Nathan, just behind them. Oh, Trevor Tuck losing a front wheel there. That's a big problem there for the Fiat factory driver. He's out of the race now. Back to Class B, and you can see Compton still keeping Morganroot's RX-8 at bay.
Van Sale just making a little bit of room for Big Ben to come flying through there. And Ben's been held up big time, but it looks like he's on a charge now as Class A still comes through. Taylor still just barely hanging on. The Audi's pushing hard.
And Taylor coming up the back straight away now. He's on this final straight. He's only got a few... Oh, problems for Taylor. He slowed down dramatically there. What has gone wrong with Anthony Taylor? Look at that. Sean Watson Smith's got in front. Here comes Leroy Poulter. He's looking for a way past as well, but Taylor is definitely slowing. Yes, he has. He's pulled to the side of the circuit. It's going to be Watson Smith from Poulter, but only just because Fourie is right on his tail. What a dice.
Top title contenders Sean Watson Smith and Leroy Poulter added welcome championship points to their season tally, with Melville Priest taking a solid third place. Robert Volk made no mistakes this time and won ahead of his mini teammate Garth Weberski, while Dave Compton took the Class B honours from Ben Morganroot. Etienne Prinsloo won Class C again, while Robbie Beninka boosted his title lead in second place. We spoke to a bitterly disappointed Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, after the first race, coming back from a bad start, I could see that I had some good pace and that the second race we were going to be very strong. However, we were leading, and then coming out the second last turn on the last lap when I selected fourth, there was just nothing. So, yeah, it's what happens sometimes. And I managed to have fifth and second, so I could just get around to the line. But, yeah, there goes the win. My first one for the year. But anyway, what happened? That's what it's called growing pains, eh?